All right. Hey, we are live. Okay, hello everyone. I am live on YouTube and I hope this is streaming online as well on my Facebook page. It's showing me that it is, but normally my Facebook is attached to the festival Facebook. Therefore, it's not automatic. And I hope that this time I was able to connect the two. And wherever you are watching, you're able to follow this. Let me just make a quick double check to make sure that we are actually on. And yes, we are. How wonderful this is. Okay, therefore, I go back to my streaming and talk about presence. What is presence? So, we are going to talk about presence today. And I also would like to welcome the people who are joining in and remind you that you are able to ask questions after I have made my presentation or at any point during the presentation. If you remember something that you want to you can put it in the comments. So I'm going to put a note, welcome to my master class live, Calas, I'm writing Calas, class live, and you may ask your questions here in the comments section. So there we go. We may have lost some people along the way because we postponed this class twice, this session twice. Once it was because of the eclipse, solar eclipse. And I thought it wouldn't make sense because in the middle of the day, people would be going out on the mountains and everywhere else to watch the eclipse. And therefore, nobody is going to tune into their, and if they did tune into their software, into their social medias, into their screens, it will not be to listen to what I have to say, but to go and look at the eclipse photos. So that was postponed once. And then yesterday, it was supposed to, actually yesterday, I had postponed it to yesterday, but then I realized it's tax day and most people are running to the post office last minute to hand in their final declarations of the taxes of this year of 2024, and therefore I thought it would not be a good idea to do it again. So here we are finally together, and I am trying to see if there are many people who have joined us, or if no people have joined us. Doesn't matter, because this is going to be broadcast and it will be online on our on the YouTube channel. So today I'm going to give you a very quick chat about presence. What is presence? And why do we think it is important? So first of all, presence is something unquantifiable, but that it is very, very important for any performer, any person who will have contact with the public, any public speaker, any presenter, even when you are going to a job interview, presence is very, very important. So sometimes we look at a person and we go, wow, what a presence he has. Or some people enter a room and suddenly everybody stops what they are doing and looks at this person, or either because they are attracting a lot of attention by being raucous or doing some crazy action, or by just being who they are. And most of the time, it is by just being who they are that is the most fascinating of presences that attract our eyes, attract our attention. And originally, this course is something that I teach people who are interested in increasing their presence, whether on stage or on screen. But the points that we cover in here can also be applied to anyone who is in contact with any public of any sort, whether it is an audience of one or many. So, to enhance performance and communication in various situations on stage, screen, in business transactions or life, whether addressing an audience of many, one or many, it is very important to be present. What is to be present? To be present in the moment, to not worry about something else, or oh my god, I left the oven on, oh I forgot to move my car from the parking spot, whatever, I was supposed to pick up my kid from school and I completely forgot about it. I mean, these are thoughts that a speaker, when thinking about them while delivering a speech, um, may get distracted. Also, it's like a piece of meditation. When you do meditation, they always tell you like you are putting your brain at ease and you are getting into a situation where the brain waves are there, they are functioning, you are seeing, you are aware of your environment, you can hear the sounds, but you do not react to them. You do not let them influence your way of thinking. A lot of times it's very difficult to do that. It's very difficult to shut your brain and say, or channel it to one particular area to another area. It comes with a lot of training, but to start with, it's very, very difficult. Um, and in order to be able to do that, initially, you have to let the thought pass through like a ship that's sailing. You are looking at the horizon. It's a beautiful ocean. Nothing is there to disturb it. Then there is the horizon line, and then there is the sky, and then there is the ocean. And you are mesmerized by this. You are just looking at that. And then a ship comes by. A ship comes. It might be pleasant, it might be unpleasant, but it is changing that view. It is changing what you are seeing and what you were able to relax into. So, what do? You have no control over that ship. You cannot just erase it, delete it from the picture because it's not a picture, it's in reality, and you are there. So, the best thing to do is to just let it go. Let it go is the best thing about being present. Whatever it is that's bothering you, whether it's a thought, it's a emotion, it's a obligation that you forgot to do and suddenly you remember it, or a worry, you're worried about your finances, you're worried about your children, you're worried about your husband, your better half, your boyfriend, your fiance, your whatever it is that you are worried about. And some people are wonderful warriors. They worry about anything and everything. Of course, there are a lot of things that we can worry about. But the best thing to do if you want to focus and be present in whatever it is that you are doing is to let the ship pass. And this is a beautiful exercise. So let's all, just for a second, close our eyes and imagine that we are in front of this beautiful scenery with nothing but the ocean or the sea, the blue of the water, and the line of the horizon that is dividing it from the sky. And then ships pass, and then somebody passes on their water skis, or a motorboat passes, or a plane might pass from the sky. Sometimes we are sitting at the beach and there is this message that comes that a plane drives, that drags it around. So these are the thoughts, these are the emotions that come and disturb our beautiful, calm moment in front of the water and the sky. So, for a second, let's sit there and imagine this beautiful scenery with nothing on it except the blue of the water and the blue of the sky. And think about it. Each one can paint their own painting. There can be different shades of blue. Maybe there is a cloud floating somewhere on the sky. Maybe there are more than one cloud. Maybe some of them are coming towards each other. Some of them are going away from each other. But it's the blue of the sky and the blue of the water coming together to calm your mind, to calm your brain, and to bring you to the moment of presence. And then each time a thought comes that disturbs that, imagine that it's a ship. Imagine that it's that plane with the message. Imagine that it's a sailboat or it's somebody on a water ski, and let them pass. Let them pass and go away until you find your presence again. The key to effective communication is presence. Being present and in the moment promotes listening and understanding. If I'm not present, if I'm worried about all those things like the boat and the ship and that I just described, which are allegories of our daily chores and daily worries and daily preoccupations, I will not be able to be present, which means I will not hear and I will not be able to listen to what is being said to me and understand it, process it, so that I can give it a proper reaction. And a lot of times, because we are not present, because we are not listening, because we are not understanding what we are hearing, we react based on preconceptions. We react based on situations that we already are bringing with us into the room. We react according to beliefs and emotions that we have already carried along with us all day long. Maybe you burnt your breakfast that morning and you didn't have time to cook another sandwich or another egg or something like that. And you're feeling hungry and you are waiting for this seminar to finish so that you can go out and grab a bite or grab breakfast. This is something, a feeling, an emotion, a state that we are bringing into the present moment from the past. And the sandwich being burnt and the breakfast being burnt is just a small example, an allegory of a lot of more serious and heavy and deep traumas that we carry with us throughout our lives, that we bring together, bring them into situations of interacting with people. And that disturbs the presence. So, what is acting? And we are all acting at any given moment. An actor on stage or on screen has two very important tasks. Of course, the first important task is to learn their lines, understand the character they are portraying, do their background research, know what they are going to talk about and all that. But the second, and in fact, as important, the most important task is to listen and react. You can learn your lines as much as you want. You can say them in your sleep. You can say them standing on your head. But if you're just saying the lines, then you are not in the moment. You are in the moment when you are reacting to your partner on stage. What do you do if you don't have partners on stage? Personally, I do a lot of solo shows, and I'm sure out there are a lot of actors who do solo shows. and you don't have any partners to bounce off of or react to. So, what do? You have to create your own world around you. And it's double tasking here. It's not only have you got to say your lines and your reactions, but you also have to be able to surprise yourself each time, because if you react in the same way every time, it's going to lock in and become very stale, and it's going to lose its liveliness and spontaneity. So you need to create characters that are alive, even though they are not there on stage with you, and to whom you are reacting. And also for solo performers, reacting to the audience. The audience, remember, is your stage partner. You are bouncing off of the energy that the audience is bringing to you. And each audience is different. Every night, there's a different audience, different group of people, different combination of energies that will throw back to you a different level of energy, a different kind of energy, which is great because then it means that your acting is not stale, your acting is not automatic on automatic pilot, but you are able to react to these things. If you don't react to your stage partner or to the audience or take in the environment and what is happening at that very particular moment in the present, you can still act, you can say your lines, but it will be very mechanical, and it will be, some actors are masters at it. You will not be able to tell, but it's still lacking that spontaneity, that sparkle that makes it an Academy Award winning piece, as opposed to something that is very well rehearsed, very well learned, and very well acted. So, this is about actors. However, we are all in any given moment in our lives and during any given day, we are acting. We act as the mother preparing the breakfast in the morning. We act as the chauffeur driving the kids to ballet or to soccer or to whatever it is. We act as the professor who comes to the class and he has to act. He has to get into a certain persona, and this persona knows their material, knows what they are going to talk about. And a lot of times, the presence of the professor dictates how the class will behave. And one has to do with the other. So I don't want to go into extreme situations where now we know what is happening in schools. And I really sympathize with those teachers and would not for anything in the world want to be in their shoes, where they have to run a daily battle with the class. But at the end of the day, presence and communicating directly with every single student or every single audience member in your presence is the beginning of the important step that you can take to establish good communication. And this goes for any business or sales situation, for job interviews, for social interactions of any sort with any fellow human beings. And I would go to the extreme of saying even political and diplomatic negotiations and transactions. I wish a lot of politicians would be aware of this, of presence and listening to one another, because there is an ideal world and we can achieve it. It's possible to respect the needs and requirements of everyone and meet halfway if there is presence, listening, respect, and understanding. So therefore, presence is very, very important. If you are in your head and you keep harping on one issue without paying attention to the needs and requirements of the people who are in front of you, then negotiation cannot take place, because each one stubbornly is sticking to their guns, so to say, or figuratively speaking, or to their real guns, which is even a worse situation. And therefore, conflict escalates, as we have seen and can see and keep seeing in the world on a daily basis. So, there are ways of achieving this presence. Of course, it's the most desirable situation to be in. But what is it that we need to do? There are exercises and activities, theater games, that help us achieve presence for optimum effectiveness in communication. A lot of times, some people are of the idea that presence cannot be taught. So you either have it or you don't. And in a way, it's true, because somehow we see people or actors in the main situation, or people in any kind of communication situation, where you say, wow, that person has such an incredible presence. Well, that other person doesn't have presence. Well, I think personally, it can be taught. If you if you point your finger to the reason or to the element in the behavior of the person who you think might not have presence, to understand why they are the way they are, and you find the key to that, you can open that door and suddenly a transformation will take place. A lot of times it happens because the person is too much in their own heads. They are too conscious, too self-conscious, and too aware of other people's opinions around them. Too self-critical. It might be a situation of upbringing. It might be a situation of their beliefs, their faith, their religion, it can be thousands of different reasons why one person might feel they are more closed into themselves and therefore come across as lacking what that elusive thing that we call presence. The other extreme of this is those people who have too much presence. And what is too much presence? And it's not really presence, actually. It's imposition, what I would call. And that is people who maybe were shy in the past, and being conscious of that, have counteracted that by taking up actions that would put them into a situation of saying, here I am, it's me. I am not shy. I am not worried of what people talk about or say about me. And I am here. I know what I'm talking about. This is overconfidence, and it comes across as, sometimes we call it flamboyance. It comes across as somebody who's too full of themselves, but definitely it's not presence. Presence is a much more subtle thing. It's mainly having to do with putting the focus on the other person, putting the focus on the person in front of you, on the person who's listening to you, and coming across to touch them, to get to them, to communicate with them. Not be in your own bubble and say, well, this is me, this is how I am, whether they like it or not, that's me. Well, okay, that's you. Or the other, very shy, very introverted and kind of not knowing how to react because they're worried that if they do this, they will be criticized by this bunch of group of people. If they do that, they will be criticized by that group of people. But there are no rights or wrongs in any kind of situation, because what might be right in this situation might be totally wrong in that other situation. So you cannot have go by the book. You cannot have a little booklet and say, okay, in this kind of situation, I do this. In that kind of situation, I do that. There's no such thing. The only thing you can do is to react. And how can you react if you are not listening, if you're not understanding the situation around you? By being present. The only way you can save your life in any kind of situation, whether it's being shy, coming across as flamboyant or not flamboyant, or dictatorial, or saying, know it all, or whatever it is that you want to come across or not come across as, the one thing you really want to come across as is yourself. And to come across as yourself, you need to strip yourself from all the layers of preconceptions of the past, of traumas, of, well, that happened to me one time because so and so said that, so I'm never going to put myself into that kind of situation, where that kind of situation was different and so was different. Now it's a different situation. Now is the most important thing. And it's interesting. I read a quote, which I can't remember the author of the quote, unfortunately. I should have made notes and read them to you, but I'm just going present and just blurping it all out. It said, when I pronounce the word future, when I say the second syllable, chur, the first syllable is already in the past. When I say future, while I'm saying chur, the few is already gone. It's past. So there is no such thing. Well, now at least is one syllable. So let's go with now, because then when I say now, it's now. That's the one point. So how do we do these exercises? Actually, usually I never have done this workshop online like this in front of a screen. I don't even know who's watching, who's not, if somebody is reacting to it or not, and if I'm talking to myself or not, I'll find out later. But what is important is that in situations like this, you just need to listen to what is going on around you. Listen to what is happening and take it in and react to that. Unfortunately, I can do that when I am in a room with people in real situations, when people are reacting and asking questions or behaving in a certain way, and I can react to that. But now I'm staring at a screen which has my files, my tabs, and my computer as well, and I don't even know who is at the other end of the screen, who is listening to me. But it really is not important, because it is important. Of course, I would love to have that interaction. But in terms of what I am saying, it's not important, because I am telling you things that are coming to my mind from the moment, from this moment, not something that I have carried with me all day and made notes and I will read them to you, nor something that I'm thinking that I should influence them because next week, the week after, the whatever, something will happen and anything like that. So the main goal, of course, there are exercises. I don't know how it would work to do some of the exercises. We did one already, which will be a wonderful way to start: the ocean, the sky, and the things that go across it that can come and bother you. These might be your thoughts, these might be your ideas, it might be something that somebody told you, said about you at some point, rumors that you've heard, people talking behind your back, or it can be anything. So, what do? You let it go. Let it go. Let it go so that you are able to be in the present. There are some other exercises as well. For example, let me rememorate to myself. Um, yeah, it's like also I want to tell you something. It's very important that we are keeping on saying the present, but it's not possible to completely erase the past. The past is with me. I am my past. Okay. Nora, now that is talking to you, is a collection of everything she has experienced in life, all the meetings, encounters, and things she has been subjected to, and the the convergence of all of these things. So, what happens is that from the moment we open our eyes, we are born. The first encounter is obviously with the person who's giving us birth, the doctor or whoever is pulling us out. That's the first encounter. And whether it's violent, harsh, soft, well done, not well done, or there are complications at birth or not, all these have their effect on our being later on. Then, of course, the first encounter is with the mother when we are put on her chest and she hugs us, and that's a first encounter. The warmth we feel, that's a first encounter. And then we start eating, going through life in different ways, going to school, and then the encounters with the children that are in our class, with our classmates, with the teacher, with the classes, with the information that we are given about life, about whatever. And all of that is extremely selective. Who selects these for us? God knows. Fate. Fate selects this for us. Fate wishes that I would be born in a certain place. You are born in another place. I am born in a certain family. You are born in another family. Some people have the misfortune of losing a parent, therefore, they have one parent. Which parent do they have? And all of these matters affect our personalities and the way we are. But which is beautiful in a way because it makes us all different. If we were all coming out of the same cookie cutter, then we would be all robots and all thinking and working alike and reacting to. Therefore, there is no manual to human reaction and interaction. The only sure thing is your presence. So therefore, that is what we are going to be working on. So therefore, I want to say I experience, therefore I am. So I am experiencing something, and the sum total of these experiences make me who I am. In other words, we are the sum total of our encounters and our experiences in life. My presence and how I interpret my current reality emerge from the ensemble of my encounters and experiences from the moment I was born and converge into who I am. These convergences make me who I am, and this is not a fixed statue. I am not a marble statue at one of the Metropolitan Museum halls with the Michelangelos have so marvelously sculpted. I wish I were, and I could stay like that for the rest of my life, but it is not the case. I am a shifting paradigm. And it's very important to take that into consideration as well. Because who I am is shifting according to the shift in experiences throughout my life. And yes, it's very true that during my formative years, my childhood experiences have had a much stronger effect on me and forming me. But once that me has been formed, that formed me has gone into a whole lot of other experiences that have added other layers, other encounters and convergences, and have made me who I am. And the future is unknown. Why is it unknown? Because I have no idea what other experiences will be thrown my way that would keep shaping me. Therefore, it's very important. Thus, it is this who I am that reacts to the environment. And this is how this reaction to the environment determines the outcome of my present, and consequently, it charts the way towards our future, which is nothing but an addition or a sequence of little presences. Presence one, presence two, presence three, presence four. And like that, we don't want to jump into the future. We want to be present plus present plus present plus present until we reach someplace where we look back and we go, wow, we've come a long way. And each one has been through 100% presence, hopefully, although it's theoretically not possible completely. So, looking back to analyze these encounters in our own lives, you will notice that some were selective. Not only some, all of them were selective. It's this selectiveness that determines our perception of ourselves through a self-fulfilling prophecy, because our character and nature dictate us how we are selective and what we choose to select. And through the narrative we reinforce in ourselves, the self-fulfilling prophecy makes us who we are. Therefore, the best thing to do is to be present in the moment so that we can make the most of it, the most of the moment, and not be thwarped or lost in the past or projected towards the future, which isn't even here, and we don't even know what is in store for us. So the more we dwell on our narrative, on our personal narrative, the more we perpetuate the belief that it generates, and it becomes reinforced. That's how I am. This is, that's how I am. We keep saying that's me, that's how I am. Yeah, fair enough. That's me, and that's you, and that's the other one, and so on. There is an essence of truth to that. However, if we lock in the narrative that we keep telling ourselves, we cannot expect different results by telling ourselves the same narrative. So if we are locked into a situation because we are telling ourselves we are approaching ourselves with a certain narrative, which is the result of our beliefs and understandings of ourselves, which is in itself the sum total of our experiences and their convergence into this point, we will not be able to change the course of our lives or change the outcome of our lives. So we cannot expect a different outcome if we feed ourselves the same old narrative. That's how I am. This is me. Okay, so let's forget about that. That's not how I am, and that this is not me. This is Nora right now, reacting to a situation in which I have put myself, which is to share with you the idea of presence, what it is, and how we can achieve it. To change the outcome of any situation, we need to change the narrative we tell ourselves of that situation. That is the only way we will experience a different outcome, by telling ourselves a different story. So, to bring a big philosopher into the game, I will mention Nietzsche and perspectivism, which explains that every truth depends on its perspective. My perspective of something is completely different from this other person's perspective, because they come from a certain different set of beliefs that make them see things a different way. So by consequence, a paradigm is created which is constantly shifting. It is very disconcerting, because if I go, I need to hold on to something. I need categories. I need to know where I fit. I need to know. No. Go in front of the ocean, look at the sky, and let the ship pass. That's the most important thing I can say out of this, which, by the way, I hadn't planned ahead of time. It just came to me. So, and I think it's not a bad allegory to have, because we are constantly in situations when we want things to happen a certain way. Well, I got news for you. They don't. And then once we accept that the paradigm we are in is constantly shifting, and when this shift happens, we have to react to that, we do not think the same anymore. And the moment we stop thinking the same, life changes. So on this, I want to share with you that it is a joy to be alive and a joy to be able to communicate. And communicating and joy are both contagious. And I hope you have the joy of communicating, the joy of presence, the joy of being able to live in a shifting paradigm and constantly reevaluate yourself. When you react to a situation and an emotion ensues, you need to stop and think, why did this happen? What am I bringing from my past experiences and trauma into the present that is making me react the way I am reacting? So on this note, I will leave you saying that the most important thing is to be present in the moment. Because today is April 16, 2024. It is 2:49 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and this moment will never be repeated ever again. There will not be another April 16, 2024. Maybe in some parallel universe it will. There is, who knows? But as far as we are concerned, as far as the universe that our brain can engulf or encompass, it will not happen again. So make the most of the present moment. So let me go back and take a look and see if anybody has put any questions or comments. And if they have, or if they haven't until now and wish to do so, I will give a few more minutes before I close the session. So there we go. I hope you agree with me. I mean, there's nothing to agree or not to agree. Everybody is free to have their opinions. But I think presence is defined by not being in the past, by not being into yourself, by not being in the future, or not worried about what is happening around you in terms of yourself, but being aware of the moment and what is happening around you in order to be able to better react and better be in the moment and bring in your contribution to that moment. Okay, well, I've got a remark. John Sarkisian is saying, amazing presentation. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. I hope it was useful to whoever was listening. So thank you all, everybody. And if you didn't catch it in real time, it will be on the Facebook page, and it will be also on my YouTube channel. And I will put the link so that you are able to watch it from YouTube or Facebook as much as you would like. You can go back and forth. Maybe I covered too much ground and you can take notes. I intend to do this as a course, by the way, over 4 weeks or 4 sessions, I should say. In terms of like, it might be better to do it over 2 weeks and do 2 sessions per week. So if anybody out there is interested, please send me a personal message and I will respond, and we will schedule it so that it's convenient for everyone. And incidentally, the exercises and things, although it's important to be in the room with the people because that's much more presence and interaction, but I can adapt them so that we can do some of the exercises online. Because since COVID, we have become online creatures, I guess. So this is part of our presence now. So what can we do? So we have to make do and react to our convergence right now, which is the legacy of COVID. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for listening. I have some more remarks. Amazing. Gerald, okay, we will send him, John, we'll send him the recording. and Maro Partamyan is saying, I made the most my presence by listening to you, dear Nora. Thank you, Maro. And hello, Nora from Baha Emil. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful day. It's beautiful and sunny outside in New York. I don't know what it is like from wherever you are joining in. Whatever it is, may it be sunny and beautiful in your heart and in your mind. Thank you, everyone. Bye.